Hello everyone! The clip you're about to hear is from one of our exclusive Patreon episodes on a recent horror release, and just like all of our other episodes, it might include major spoilers for said horror release, so don't listen to it if you haven't already seen it. You've officially been warned. And if you'd like to hear the full episode, just head on over to patreon.com/horrorqueers and subscribe today. Without further ado, here is your exclusive Patreon clip. I am shocked to say that the first time I watched this movie, I actually wasn't a big fan of it. To the point where I even messaged you, Joe, and I was like, we can still cover it, but like, I'm solidly meh on it. I rewatched it last night, and I did enjoy it more. I think, honestly, the early parts of this film that really try to do like this kind of meta horror commentary thing really annoyed me to the point that I was kind of missing the titular fun in the rest of the film, because I was still like, it's really just kind of the early parts where it tries to get really meta and comment on horror, and then there's bits sprinkled throughout the film. But every time it would happen, I would just roll my eyes. Like, I didn't honestly think any of the commentary in this movie was particularly enlightening or even that funny, and that removed from it, I actually enjoyed it a lot more when it was just trying to be itself, if that makes any sense.
Right. No, I think I know what you mean, because I definitely had the same first impression. I think I recovered from it a little bit more quickly than you.
Right.
But our introduction to Joel, he's obviously meant to come off as a loser, and he's kind of pathetic. You know, he's pining after this roommate. He doesn't really have a social life. And I get what the film is trying to do in this regard, but I really just didn't like this character. And we've talked about unlikable characters before. They're not a deal breaker. You don't have to like your protagonist. But in this case, you're right. I do think it felt it was hitting close to home by saying, oh, well, if you are a horror journalist, you are a bit of a loser. You can't get dates. You think that films are better than reality and so on. And it really wasn't until we got into the self-help group and there was, I think, just more fish out of water comedy that the film started to relax and settle into itself.
I agree. And, you know, I don't want it to come across like or even you, maybe you were, I don't know, were like offended by this portrayal of a horror critic.
Take your pot shots if you need to.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, there are plenty of us that are assholes.
Sure.
I did actually think that a lot of his shit, though, was more reminiscent of, let's say, the Bloody Disgusting comment boards, though, than an actual, like, film critic.
Right. Okay.
But, like, even this is also where I had to kind of put myself, okay, like, it's 1983. But, like, the big observations he was making in his, like, introductory scene, it's like, oh, slow-moving killers. Oh, we're gonna bring up the Hitchcock surprise over suspense story. Oop, why do people go outside when they hear a noise? I'm like, okay, like, Scream did this 25 years ago. So, I was like, these aren't, like, really particularly, like, good. Honestly, I thought it was very lazy screenwriting.
Oh, see, I didn't look at it as an issue of screenwriting. I was only looking at it from a character point of view. Like, his claims are so baseless and boring. Like, those aren't even interesting observations for a regular film viewer as opposed to even a film critic. So I was just like, oh, you're just not very good at your job.
Interesting. Okay, you know what? I can go with that because, yeah, my first viewing, I was very much this movie isn't as smart as it thinks it is.
Interesting. Okay.
But you're coming at it from this character isn't as smart as he thinks he is, which is a very important distinction.
Indeed, yeah.
It was late in the afternoon when the professor and I took our way towards the east, whence I knew Jonathan was coming.
Jonathan Harker has asked me to note this, as he says he is hardly equal to the task, and he wants an exact record kept.
Dear Madam Mina, I have read your husband's so wonderful diary. Strange and terrible as it is true. I will pledge my life on it.
God preserve my sanity, for to this I am reduced. Safety and the assurance of safety are things of the past.
I am in hopes that I shall see more of you at Castle Dracula.
Listen to Regarding Dracula wherever you listen to podcasts, or find us online at bloody.fm.